The Spirituality Now podcast is sponsored by Delaflor Teachings International, a spiritual and systemic coaching and consulting company with the mission to help individuals, businesses, and corporations create brilliant futures through sustainable transformation. Also sponsored by the Network for Human Empowerment, a philanthropic TV network that serves Spanish-speaking communities with free, conscious education aimed to empower individuals to become the best versions of themselves. And our podcast producer, Ascend Media, Authority Syndication, delivering premium video marketing, podcast production, and social syndication.
Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast, a podcast committed to supporting you in your journey to life mastery and personal enlightenment. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host, Ivonne Delaflor, and today I am my own guest. I am the guest of my own show. Just a kind reminder that this is a philanthropic-based podcast. We don't sell anything. If we share something about a product we like or about a product of a friend or a coaching program from someone else, we are not receiving money from it. It's purely because we want to contribute and support and actually share good, great, the best of the best with you. This podcast is also sponsored by the systemic and spiritual consulting and coaching company called Delaflor Teachings International, which I am proud to be CEO and founder of. This podcast is also produced by Ascend Media, Authority Syndication Media, incredible company. If you ever are looking for conscious media production, video, podcast, radio, magazines, whatever it is about your marketing, but in a conscious way, those are your gals or guys to consider. Ascend Media, ASYND Media. Anywho, today is the 100th episode. And, we have incredible guests, and we have incredible guests coming up soon to the podcast. But today I wanted to honor the 100th episode. I wanted to make like a special, not that long podcast to share with you 5 gifts, 5 things, gifts, treasures that I've learned with truly what has become the greatest mentor in my life, Tim Grover, the author of the books, the bestseller, New York Times bestseller books, Winning and Relentless. And the reason why I want to share that, and it's when you get a good mentor, a good spiritual teacher, an incredible guide, someone good in your life that just not only inspires you to go bigger and greater, but that also is living that, what you want to accomplish, or it's, your interactions with him or with her show you that this being is as human as it is, has accomplished the impossible by just honoring their standards, their core values. They have gone through a lot and they have come out of through a lot, conquering and just triumphant. And the most important, they bring others into their success. When you find someone like that, it is truly a treasure, and also to be shared with others. It really becomes a treasure when it's shared. It doesn't become a treasure when it's hidden, at least in my perspective. So I want to honor that. I'll share with you 5 of the manifold things that I've learned with him, at least 5 that I feel that I finally embodying and understanding with a deeper spiritual maturity and also intelligence and critical thought, because they have been incredible teachings in my life that have benefited me and those I serve. But I also want to take a little moment to honor all the guests that have believed in us since the beginning. Richard Roth, the founder of the Gene Keys and the author of the Gene Keys book, was my first guest on my birthday, December 2nd, 2 years ago, when we were named, when our podcast was bilingual. because we cater to, we serve a lot of the Latin American Hispanic community. And he was so generous with his time and patience because, we were figuring out, I was figuring it out. I didn't have the right audio, the right materials, the right things. And I had no clue how to be a podcaster, even though I was preparing for a couple of years to launch this podcast. So Richard Roth, a big shout out to him, and go explore his work. He's a genius. I'm going to just say he's a genius. Not only an awakened being, not only an ecstatic being, but go check out his work of the Gene Keys. And we will link the podcast that I'm mentioning here below. I want to thank every single person. Obviously, we have arrived to the 100th episode not alone. It's thanks to them. Thanks for them to share with their audience. Thanks for them to believe in us and give us and give us a seat in their table when I brought my chair sometimes in. So Richard Roth, the second person that I want to, pay tribute to and recommend to you all is Dan Brule, my beloved breath work mentor. He's just an eminence of the breath. Truly believe he's the best of the best in the world. He's the trainer of Mark Levine of the Navy SEALs, not Tim Grover, Tony Robbins. Dan went and gave a speech. He was generously shared freely his time with the group of Tim Grover called Down and Dirty. So that's why I was mentioning him. But Dan Brule is truly a breathwork master like no other. And his heart, his awakened heart is unbelievable. He's a beloved friend and mentor of mine. So go check his episode 2 of Dan Brule. And also a big, big tribute to Sean Wallen, the founder of, Lions Not Sheep. This man, he's so incredible. I really like him, his wife. They are like a decade younger than me, but they are wiser in so many ways and super spiritual people. And he gave us a shot for the podcast. And, he was one of the people that when I heard the podcast and it was not good, my sound and everything, I freaked out and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Our podcast will be better thanks to you. And I was like apologizing and some things he said, in his Insta stories, like, don't apologize, just keep going. And so I always have in my heart gratitude for anyone that has supported, little or big. There's no little support, by the way, and that gave us a chance. And of course, incredible other speakers that have come. My beloved friend Grace Terry, incredible sound healer. My friends from Latin America, great teachers like Alex Lucky and Annabelle Vizcarra, who is just such a goddess. So incredible people, Shanti Zimmerman. So we have so many people to be thankful for. But I wanted to especially mention, Richard and Sean Wallen and Dan Brule that have believed in me so much. And Sean Wallen believed, just gave us like, hey, He actually, how I got to interview him? I got the privilege to interview him he did an Insta story where he said, if you want me to be in your podcast, send me a private message. And I said, I'm going for it, right? So I contacted him. He said, yes, immediately. And he was like, when do you want it? He was not like, so I sent him dates and he was just so kind and generous. So I'm sharing this with you because a lot of people ask me, well, you have a lot of friends, a very well-known friends. You know what? I send them messages. I write them notes, I write them emails. I've been for 20 years more serving so many people in the world. I am the founder of a nonprofit organization called Mastery Life. And Mastery Life brought a lot of the Hay House authors in. You know how they were brought, and then I'm going to jump with the Tim Grover lessons because I wrote them an email when nobody dared to write them 25 years ago. And they happened to say yes. That's how I met the incredible teacher and dear friend of mine, Alan Cohen, the beautiful Doreen Virtue that now has gone into her path as Christian that I really did respect. We were able to bring the teachings of Don Miguel Ruiz. So many beautiful, beautiful people. We were able to do a film that actually, as I'm recording this podcast on February 14, Valentine's, which is the birthday of my youngest son. And it's the celebration, the year anniversary of the launch of our first feature film that took us like 5 to 6 years to produce and film, called The United State of Mind, featuring people like Dan Brule, Richard Roth, Kia Sherbentinio, Massaro. Just incredible. It's a beautiful film directed by Matthew J. Peters. It's a beautiful film. We'll link it here. usmthemovie.com is a movie that celebrates unity in diversity, especially in these times. So, anywho, the reason why I'm sharing this too is because Tim Grover, in his book Relentless, tells the story that when he was 19 years old, he wrote letters to the whole team of the Bulls basketball back in the days to train them. He took a risk. He sent them letters. I can help you. I can take you this, etc., etc. You got to read Relentless to know the whole story. But no one responded except one person, Michael Jordan. And the rest is history. He hired him, I believe, for 30 days or 15 days. And 15 years later, they were still working together and they did history together. And I share this because I can relate to him, because all the people that I have met, I haven't met them because I sent them money by means. No, it's the opposite. I really establish a connection with them. I make sure that I learn from them. I make sure that I bring value to them. I want to be an asset to the people that I want to contribute their wisdom into the world. I'm a believer that we can all create, and this is a personal goal that I have, to create a conscious re-evolution, a conscious evolution, an accelerated evolution of consciousness for all of humanity. I have a personal goal to eradicate third world country mentality coming from Mexico. And the way you do these big, big dreams is by being an asset and contributing. So I have a belief that all these goals that I have, I can become great, the greatest on my line, the greatest at faith teaching. That is one of my goals. The greatest at faith restoration. I can become great by myself. But guess what? All of these incredible teachers, people, humans, together, if I support them, and when I support them, they support 1,000 more people that I can serve. So I'm always, always, always looking to be an asset to them and looking to be a great student of their teaching. So that's, I get to learn, I get to upgrade, and it is my duty afterwards, when I learn something from them that resonates with me, to embody it and take it to the next level. And so that's what Tim Grover did with Michael Jordan. And so the 5 things I've learned with him that I would like to share in the February month, which, by the way, every day should be, could be, would be, if you choose it to be, a day of love, a day of investing, a day of the Valentine's. I think it's like for every season, when you have a relationship, when you have a mission, when you have work, there's a romance with creation that doesn't stop. And if you read the ecstatics like Rumi, like Ananda Moima, like Rabindranath Tagore, and just so many ecstatic, Emily Dickinson, just beautiful, ecstatic beings that their life, even though it was not perfect, there was chaos, there was love with creation. So that's the Valentine. So this is like kind of the episode of Valentine's, and the 5 teachings I want to deliver for this season that I learned actually from Mr. Tim Grover and Shari Wenk, because I must say, by the way, Shari Wenk, I forgot, she's one of the persons that gave us an opportunity to be in our podcast. She is, I truly believe this woman she needs to be featured in Time magazine as the woman of the years. The body of work of this woman, she's just behind the scenes most of the time. But she is the next level of 100x. You cannot call her 10x. She's 100x. And her core values and focus on what she has accomplished is an example for all humans, both men and women, but mainly for women. So I'll do an episode about that another time. But okay, let's go for the 5 teachings. And I said Shari's because she co-authored the book of Winning and